Hey everybody, and welcome to Bright Founders Talk at Tami. Tami is an international software development company that designs, builds, and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. Welcome to our podcast where we bring you the most inspiring stories for entrepreneurs and experts in the software development industry. Each week, we interview successful leaders who share their unique journeys and valuable insights. Our today's guest speaker is David Wartmann, who is co-founder of Joineer. Hello, David. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm fine. Thank you very much. Hope you too.
Yes, me as well. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I feel like the best way to start is to discover the question, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur and what motivated you to start your own company?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. So I did an apprenticeship here in Switzerland. This is a special format in Switzerland where you work and go to school at the same time. And after my apprenticeship, I started working and I didn't feel at the right place. So I moved on and then did my high school diploma afterwards before university. Then when I studied afterwards economics, I just had the impression I don't want to go back to some kind of company and work for someone else, but rather do something on my own. And that's how I became entrepreneur together with my co-founders.
This interesting story. Actually, before jumping directly to the discussion of your company, Joineer, can you tell us a bit about your background and how you became involved in the software development industry?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, as I said before university, I already was like interested in tech stuff, but more on the private side. And then when I studied economics, I booked a lot of IT courses during my time at the University of Zurich, but also later on at Weisge in St. Gallen. And that's how I became like interested for the topic. And then when we founded the company, we were two marketing and one business guy, and I was the business guy. And then we didn't have a techie at the time, so it felt for me a bit natural that I took over that part. At that moment, we developed with external developers, so I was in charge of the whole product development, so to say, and that's the reason why also now I'm in charge of the products development and take over like with the techies the whole tech side.
Nice. It's cool. So how did you come up with the idea for Joineer, and what was the process like for building and developing the culture engine product?
We did a lot of interviews with potential customers at that time. I think we did over 100 customer-centric interviews before we started developing the team barometer. And that gave us a lot of insights about company culture and how people interact in companies. And so many people and also HR leaders were not satisfied how, for example, employee engagement takes place, and especially the way many companies were doing it at the time with regular employee service every 2 or 3 years. That was just not enough. So we knew that we have to do something in that sphere, and came up with this pulse survey-like tool.
Okay, so it's a great moment to actually describe Joineer. Can you describe and share with us what sets Joineer apart from other HR tech startups, and how do you stay competitive in the industry?
Yeah, so Joineer really revolutionizes employee service by streamlining the feedback to action process. So we actually integrate all the steps from feedback to action in one easy tool. And our AI algorithm generates a specific report with actions for each team individually, empowering teams to identify and solve their issues themselves, and thereby creating a culture of trust and engagement in the company. And this provenly leads to a higher productivity and a higher employee retention rate. So this is what we do actually.
Okay, as we are here to inspire first-time entrepreneurs, those who are only at the beginning of their entrepreneurial journey, can you share any story of failures or setback that you've experienced along the way and what you learned from them, actually?
Yeah, of course, there were a lot of failures. I think every entrepreneur or founder has to face failures to learn and grow. For me, there was like a particular moment when we really wanted to grow and also get new people on board. And we were in contact with the potential customer, and two people on the customer side said, yeah, we're going to work with you. And this was a huge contract for us. So the contract was orally confirmed. But then in the end, it turned out that they postponed the project for over 2 years, and we couldn't onboard these people because we just didn't have enough money. So yeah, what I can say is that only really a written yes or an offer is a definite yes. And yeah, never trust just orally confirmed offers.
Okay, interesting. And let's leave apart some kind of technology and your company story. Let's move a little bit our focus to your story, personal story. How do you balance the demands of being a founder with your personal life? And maybe actually you have some strategies which are the most effective in achieving work-life balance, and you can share with our audience.
Yeah, I do a lot of sports, so that's my balance. So I train 3 times a week. I really need that, yeah, for staying in balance. And then after sports, I can also come home, eat something, and then sit down again and keep on working. But this is really essential for me, and of course also my family and yeah, friends are a good way to keep my work life fit healthy, and I also read lots. So these 3 things are for me essential.
Okay, so you actually have this work-life balance, because I've interviewed a lot of entrepreneurs, and a part of them, they are saying that it's really hard to manage to have this kind of work-life balance. And it's really essential that you actually manage to do this from your side. So let's come back to Joineer. Can you talk a bit about the importance of culture within organization and how your company product helps organizations transform their culture?
So we really focus on setting up a decent workplace. This yeah, is for us really important. The positive communication culture within the organization is, in our opinion, key for a healthy development of a company. And how we do it, we yeah, shed a lot of light in places where there is darkness, so to say, and we yeah, try to really make things transparent with the team parameter, and also foster this positive communication culture, for example, with our feed forward method. So our tool integrates a method out of positive psychology, which is called feed forward. So not just looking back. Feedback is always like focused on the past and what people have been doing wrong in the past. And with feed forward, we look into the future. We really focus on what can be done better within the company. And I heard from many customers that, while they're using the tool, this feed forward method also like takes effect in the offline world. When people talk to each other, sometimes they say, hey, that was just like a criticism of the past. Try to reformulate it and formulate it in a feed forward. And that's helping the culture or also the positive communication culture to really take effect within the whole organization. Yeah, and like that, we create a culture of trust and engagement, and this really provenly leads to higher productivity within the organization. And with more transparency, we also reduce inequalities, also gender inequality. And I think this is really the basis for a prospering organization.
Okay, as we touched on the topic about culture, what is actually your core values for building culture in Joineer?
As I said, transparency for me personally is really important, and having good discussions, and by good I mean that they can really be tough and on the topics, but in the end you should be able to shake hands or at least get a beer after work and have a good time, in the sense of no one doesn't take it too personally. This is important.
As we know that you are not the only founder of Joineer, can you share maybe some kind of challenges which can people face in co-founding when you are partnering with someone in launching the business?
Yes, my co-founder Fabian and I, we had a lot of fights during the way, so we are also personally we are friends, but yeah, we had rough times. It wasn't easy, but I would say we really in the end grow together. And what we discussed some weeks before was that actually it's good to have someone who challenges you, and also someone who is not always motivated as you are, not always in the same time. Because when we look back, we saw that in the times where I wasn't motivated, he was motivated, and vice versa. So this was really essential for actually the survival of our company, that our motivation was helping each other, like doing the work in the end.
It's great that you have some kind of friendly relationship, and that you can empower each other in your business. So let's move to more kind of industry question. How do you see the future of HR tech evolving? And actually, how is Joineer preparing to stay ahead of the curve?
This is a really important question, and we focused a lot on AI, on artificial intelligence, especially on NLP, natural language processing, which is an important part when it comes to employee service. So with the Joineer Team Barometer, we don't only focus, as I said, on the quantitative values. We focus mostly on these feed forwards, on these comments, and there we did a lot of research and work in clustering comments into groups, but now also with the whole ChatGPT hype, we're trying to like stay on top of the game with integrations and really try to build the newest technologies into our tool to stay on top of the game concerning the whole HR tech market.
And so do you believe that you think AI is really crucial nowadays for success of your business?
Absolutely. I think there will be a huge shift in the not only in tech industry, but also in other industries with what's going on right now with AI. So I'm deeply convinced that to stay on top of the game, you have to do your research and try to work with these new technologies. So I'm also really curious what will happen in the next like couple of months and years concerning that.
And actually, can AI bring some drawbacks to the industry, to HR tech?
Yeah, I think especially for a young startup like ours, I think the hurdles to enter the market will be lower. So I think you will be faster to build up products that bring a lot of added value to customers, and there you really have to be careful as existing startup not to not to lose the focus on those technologies.
Okay, thank you for your interesting thoughts. Let's see next 2 months, next year, what AI will bring to us. Okay, again, coming back to your personal story as entrepreneur, how do you approach risk-taking and decision-making as entrepreneur? And what strategies have you found to be the most effective in this way?
Here I also can only talk about what we like experienced in our company, and we are not a typical startup in the sense of having big investors and having a lot of cash. We are actually a self-funded startups, and we have a lot of experts working with us. So we're 10 people, and each and every one has some part of the company, so got shares from our company. So that's the way we do it, self-funded, and in that sense, decision making always takes part in the group. So when we take decisions, it's always in the group, and there as well we decide together how much risk we want to take and in which direction we are going. And those for me are the most important and also most interesting discussions concerning strategy as an entrepreneur.
What do you find the most challengeable in being an entrepreneur?
People who are in different stages of their career take different decisions concerning risk. So I made the experience that people who are a bit more advanced in their career or like in their like perhaps like second or third part of their career, they're usually less risk averse. So they take more risk than perhaps Fabian and myself, who founded the company, and are a bit more conservative, which is actually interesting because in our company we're amongst the younger people, and usually you say that younger people are more risk-taking or risk-loving, but for us it's actually vice versa.
Okay, interesting to hear this. So we actually we are about to finish our interview, and my last question will be, as a successful founder, what advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs?
Actually, that things always take much longer than you planned. So that's something I can tell everyone who approaches me. Hey, I have this and that idea. In the next half year, I will come up with some kind of MVP, and then this and that is the next step. And I always have to tell people, hey, probably it will take longer than you planned now. And also for us, it always takes longer and longer. But I think that's how the business is going, especially also in nature tech. The cycles are just very slow.
And one more, what actually you consider the key of your success, of Joineer's success?
I think that I have very, very good, intelligent, and integer people working with me. So I really have to say team is the absolute key, and having Fabian as my co-founder and also the rest of my team, that motivates me every day, and working with intelligent people on a sophisticated product, that's what motivates me every day.
And you've built such successful team, such skilled team in such a way. Maybe you have some secrets you can share.
Yeah, just be honest, be yourself while interviewing people. Be transparent. Also here, tell also as we discussed, tell about your failures, tell about your challenges. Just be honest when you talk to people who want to work with you. Otherwise, it won't turn out well.
Okay, thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for coming on the podcast today. We really appreciate your time and insights you shared with us. It was great having you as a guest, and we hope you go back again in the future. Thanks again for sharing your knowledge with our listeners.
Thank you very much, Alexandra. Thank you for the interview. It was really interesting to talk to you.